internally, people who have been giving financial support, physical support, and kind of giving them media space, social media space, and variety of things which are adding to all this. I think this is the time to undo that 100%. See, one thing is this IED blast happened and it's a mayhem at that moment. When the rest of the force is trying to go pick up the bodies, somebody is throwing stones at them at that time. Well, this cannot happen in a nation. This cannot happen. Even at that moment, there are people throwing stones at you. Well, always they've been explained of as boys. They're not boys. Whatever it takes, the enemy within must be dealt with 100%. Outside enemy is not something that you adventure into without thinking of all the consequences. I would say we must see what is the solution for this for us. One piece of the solution, it's not a whole solution. One piece of the solution is support within the country must be stamped out. So, we must be very astute about this. Where is the real infrastructure that must be broken? Where is the support of a certain level of support in the social media, in the media, there is support. This must be dismantled. See, nation is not… I'm not speaking with some kind of fervor. I'm just talking in terms of a solution. Nation is not something that descended from somewhere, it's an idea that all of us agreed that this is our nation. If we don't take care of it, if we don't invest ourselves into it, this idea will not become a wonderful idea, this will become a horrendous idea. Right now, we have this problem, a whole lot of people have not invested themselves in that idea. If you take away the local infrastructure completely, there are people who are clearly other side of the wall, we need to deal with them one way. There's a whole lot of people who sit on the wall not knowing which way to fall, we must deal with them compassionately. And those who are on this side, we must deal with them in terms of protecting them so that they don't get harmed.
Sadhguruji, what are you saying? In this country where people have come out, Omar Khalid and
yes.
you know, and all of these people who… Kanhaiya Kumar, they are icons today because they raised the slogans. At least they were part of the group that raised the slogans, Bharat tere tukde tukde honge, Afzal hum sarminda hai, tere qatil zinda. And when the sedition law is applied to them, there are political mainstream parties that come out to question that
that
decision.
Is what I'm saying. As per the law, they shouldn't be walking the street, all right? They are not only walking the street, they are hogging the limelight. Please end this, this is the time. Right now the country is ready for this, country's emotion is ready for this. This is the time to deal with all of them, because this is not about retribution. This is about ensuring that the possibility, the threshold of possibility upon which we are sitting, that we could solve the problems of poverty and bring well-being to this nation and the people of this nation who had such a bad deal for last 10, 15 generations, they've lived in poverty. Now there is a possibility, we don't want some fool to hijack this, so we must act for solution. This is the time. I'm saying when I said dismantle the infrastructure, I'm meaning just this, all of them. It doesn't matter who they are.
Do you think the next war is actually within the country, on platforms in the social media?
It should not just be on the social media platforms, that will be a fake war. Well, many years ago, General Musharraf said, next time there is a war, it'll happen within your borders, not at the border. He said that. Well, he said it with a certain understanding and a certain knowledge about certain things. Now, when people have come up and openly said, we want to break the country, we must decide, all of us, do we want to break the country? At least let's do it. If we don't want it, we value India for what it is right now. We have broken it once and never again we're going to break it, because when we broke it, we killed over 1 million people and over 15 million people were displaced. Many of them after 70 years still not settled. And we know what pain. See, The reports carry the dead. If so many people died, you will report that so many people died. Do you have a way of reporting people suffering? Do you have a way of reporting people suffering? Those millions of people who were looted, raped and lost their children and wives and husbands, and they came in such desperate this way and that way, both sides I'm saying. Do you want to create one more situation like that? I am not talking about geographic integrity, I am talking about human suffering. We have seen that suffering. Unfortunately, it's not well recorded, nobody has bothered to write enough about it, nobody has bothered to make enough movies about it, nobody has brought it alive for this generation that this has happened to us, never again we should make the same mistake. So openly in the capital city, when somebody says, "Tukade, tukade," what are you going around doing all kinds of nuances of law? Please do what you have to do.
But then everybody here is accused of having some prejudice or the other.
See, that is what I'm saying. This is a very calculated effort. They're not just doing it, they have an agenda. They're working. When I say dismantle all the infrastructure, I mean all these things. Everything that is working…
Then where does the democracy go?
No. Democracy is to make the nation function, not to dismantle the nation. Democracy is not made to dismantle a nation. If anybody has such understanding, let them correct themselves now. Because democracy is about a graceful change of power, essentially. That without bloodbath, you can change power, which never happened in human history, only after democratic process came, this is happening. So democracy does not mean you have the right to dismantle a nation. If you want to dismantle a nation, then let's hold a referendum. If that's what you want, we are very clear, 95% of the population or 98 or 99% of the population here is 100% clear, we don't want to break the country once again. We have done it once, we have seen the suffering, what it has done, and we don't want such an incident to happen once again ever in our country. So if somebody thinks they want to do it, we must deal with them. What are we waiting for?